the camera. Say hi to everyone. Say hi. What's wrong? You want food? You're hungry again? Yeah? Okay. Hi everyone, Heather here from eCourse Alley. Hope all is well. So today we're going to look at the letter C for Learn Articulate Storyline 360 A to Z. What we're going to be doing today is creating a little story example in Articulate Storyline 360 where we are going to be inserting characters, looking at converting text to speech. So we're going to be inserting robot voice for this, and we're going to be looking at closed captioning again, as well as adding speech bubbles and cue points, which more easily allow you to time the entrance and exit of animations. So those are the items we're going to look at today, and like I said, we're going to build a little story-like example. So first I'm going to go through and show you what we're going to build, and then I'm going to go to the back end of Articulate Storyline 360 and I'm going to show you how I built the example. So I'm going to do a little bit of a different thing today instead of building it from scratch, because it just takes me a lot longer to get the videos out to you. So if I show you exactly what I did first time around instead of having to do it twice, then it might be faster for me to get videos to you. So without further ado, let's look at what we're going to build today. Hi everyone, so today we're going to look at Learn Articulate Storyline 360 from A to Z, the letter C. We're going to be looking at how to insert characters, convert text to speech, closed captioning, adding captions or speech bubbles, and cue points. So first I'll go over the learning objectives. So we're going to be inserting characters from the content library with different poses and expressions. We're going to use text-to-speech feature to insert robot voice audio and generate closed captioning. We're going to insert captions to create speech bubbles and thought clouds. And we're going to insert cue points into the timeline to precisely time the entrance and exit of objects. So before I click next, the next screen is going to be the example that we're going to look at. And I'm going to walk you through at the back end after this little intro presentation of how I created it. So it's basically a conversation between two characters, and there's a scene, and I've used cue points to add the entrance and exit animations of the different poses for the characters, and I've used speech bubbles for all the dialogue and text to speech for the audio. So I'm going to just push next and it's going to play through, and then we'll look at an overview of the slide setup, and I'll show you where you can grab the script. So you're going to be able to get the script in the description of this video and every video associated with this example. So there'll be a link to it so you can have the script for creating the dialogue between the characters. So I'm going to click next, and then let's just watch it play through.
Derek Wu looked at the silver tablet in his hands and felt happy. He owned a computer repair shop that he'd started a couple years ago after he had finally decided to live out his dream. He walked over to the window and reflected on his busy surroundings. He had always loved crowded New York with its fast-paced lifestyle and towering skyscrapers. Then he saw something in the distance, or rather someone. It was the figure of Kathy Nolan, who he had gone out with a few times months ago. She was a hard-working teacher with brown eyes and long dark brown hair.
I wonder what she wants.
He pondered. Derek gulped. He glanced at his own reflection on the black tablet screen. He was an understanding, sympathetic tea drinker, with dark brown eyes and pitch black hair. His friends saw him as a diligent, ambitious do-gooder. Once he had even helped a poor injured bird recover from a flying accident. The wind blew like an untamed beast, making Derek shiver, as Kathy opened the shop door and stepped inside.
Hi Derek, how are you?
She said joyfully.
I'm pretty good, it's nice to see you.
Derek replied.
What can I help you with?
My laptop won't turn on. I was hoping you could take a look.
Sure, it would be my pleasure.
He replied enthusiastically.
I'll get your computer running like new.
Thank you. How long do you think it will take?
She asked.
I'll take a look right away, maybe a few days.
Derek guessed. They looked at each other with relaxed feelings. It felt like yesterday that they'd been out on the town enjoying a nice meal together.
Would you like to join me for a cup of tea before you go? I just made a fresh pot.
Yes, that would be nice.
Kathy replied. As they stood sipping their tea, they talked like no time had passed, and both of them were thinking the same thing, how they had missed each other's company.
Okay, so that's the example we're going to look at. And on the next slide, I'm going to go over the overview of setting this up before we go into the details in the next video. So the first layer would be the base layer. And on the base layer, you're going to use the content library to set up the scene. So you can do this however you want. You don't have to follow exactly what I did. So we'll talk about that in the next video. And then you're going to insert the character for Derek. So you can pick anyone again. You don't have to follow what I do exactly. Then we're going to insert different poses and expressions for the first part of the story. So Derek looking at his tablet, Derek at the window, Derek sees Kathy, Derek looks at his reflection, and Derek's personality. We're going to also add fade animations to all characters and objects and create triggers for the characters to enter and exit the scene. And then we're going to insert cue points in the timeline to time the objects. And then lastly, insert text to speech. So I'll be showing you all of this. The next layer is Kathy arrives, and to create this layer, just going to duplicate the base layer because we want to make sure the scene stays the same throughout all these layers. So if you duplicate it, then you don't have to worry about anything moving. And then we're going to delete any unwanted objects, so anything we don't need from the first layer, we just delete. And then we insert the character for Kathy. And we insert poses, expressions, and speech bubbles for Derek and Kathy. So Derek watching Kathy enter, Kathy saying hi, Derek saying hi, Derek asking what he can help her with, and Kathy listens in a neutral type pose. We're going to also, again, add fade animations to all the characters and objects, create triggers for characters to enter and exit the scene, insert cue points in the timeline to time objects, and insert text to speech. So I'll be getting into all of that. So it's a lot of repetition. You're going to be duplicating layers, deleting unwanted things, adding the new objects, and always creating, like adding the fade animations to the characters and objects, creating the triggers and the cue points. So again, the cue points just help to time the objects coming in and out of the scene, and it just makes it a lot easier to do. And the next layer would be the laptop broken layer. And for this layer, you're going to duplicate the previous layer and delete unwanted objects. Again, so a similar thing. Insert poses, expressions, and speech bubbles for Derek and Kathy. Kathy's laptop is broken. Derek will take a look and make it run like new. Kathy asks how long it will take. Derek says a few days. Derek and Kathy listen in neutral poses. And again, adding the animations, the triggers, the cue points, and text to speech. And the last layer is cup of tea. So again, we're going to duplicate previous layer and delete unwanted objects, and then insert the following poses, expressions, and speech bubbles for Derek and Kathy. Derek and Kathy listen, look at each other in neutral poses. Derek asks to join him for tea. Kathy answers yes to tea. Derek and Kathy drink tea and chat. And then adding the fade animations, create triggers for characters, add cue points, and text to speech. So there is a lot to do, but a lot of it's very repetitious. So once you do it the first couple times, it's just redoing the same sort of thing for the other layers. So just keep this overview in mind. And next slide, I'm going to just show you the script. So on this slide, I'm just going to click here, and then the script is going to open. This is going to be linked in the video description. So it's a PDF document, and you can use this to add your text when we get to that point in creating the example. So here's the script. So you have the base layer. This is the text for the base layer. And then Kathy arrives layer. Here's the text for that and the dialogue. Kathy's laptop is broken layer. Again, here's all the text for that. And cup of tea layer. All right. So let's try this together now. So in the next couple of videos, we will look at this together.